And I would like to inform you all that you might be knowing by this time, and 2 additional examination centers have been allotted for Andhra Pradesh, that is Vijayanagaram and Srikakulam. Those who are convenient in attending there, particularly Vijayanagaram, Srikakulam nearby people, they can opt for the centers. And this is the great thing, great relief in this pandemic to cut short the travel and other arrangements. And also SIRC is announcing coaching classes for the crash course for November 2020 attempt as well as May 2021 attempt also. SIRC is conducting coaching classes with very reasonable nominal fee. Please go through those details and enroll those whoever feels necessary. This will be a very good and a great measure, and you can utilize for your academic career. I request Chairperson of Visakhapatnam branch of SCRC of ICI, CA G. Bharati Devi, to give her remarks.
Chairperson Sikasa, Murli Krishna Garu, and team Sikasa, and all the dear students, a very good evening to one and all. Let me congratulate team Sikasa and heading chairman for the newsletter. This month it was really a wonderful newsletter we have seen. The cover page itself is very much attractive to all the members. Very good idea. Whoever has got that, the student, I would like to congratulate the student, and the same way for supporting him to give the chairman and the team Sikasa for supporting such a student to get his talent out. Yes,
ma'am, it is designed by Kushwanth only.
He himself, the speaker himself. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Very nice, Kushwanth. And always reading only your subjects of course to qualify the examination will not serve the purpose to become a full-fledged chartered accountant. You should know other areas too. So the team Sikasa is working hard to bring out your inbuilt talents. Very nice, sir. And the same enthusiasm should fall throughout every. And I am very much happy today to know that a new student speaker has merged and taking a different topic, a business process automation with Python, which is not a syllabus topic, right? I would like to congratulate the speaker too, who has opted for this topic, and I request all the students also to come forward and take sessions. Okay, thank you.
I request Prashant Sai, Vice Chairman Sikasa, to introduce today's speaker. Prashant, unmute chesko.
A.V.S.R. Kushwanth is a qualified. He had qualified CA IPCC in the year 2017 and CMA Inter in the same year with A35, and he also qualified CS Executive in the year 2019. He had just completed his articleship under Sharma and Rao Chartered Accountants. He has a vast interest over computers and softwares. He also maintains a group in Telegram where he continuously gives some Excel utilities and softwares to audit clerks and assistants for analyzing data and easing the work in the CA offices. Now I request today's speaker A.V.S.R. Kushwanth to continue the session.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, respected members and my dear students. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to give the presentation. Just give me a minute. My topic is about business process automation with Python. First, what is business process automation? Business process automation means automating the recurring task so that we can complete a task within minute time. For example, we used to travel for long distances using a cycle, and we had automated to a bike. We had removed these pedals. Just give me. We had removed these pedals, and in that place we had kept an engine, and we had automated it. Similarly, we can automate the process in our CA industry. This can be helpful for analyzing the reports and web automation and integrating with the other softwares. And even we can create an artificial intelligence. First of all, what is Python? Generally, whenever we heard about the word Python, we are going to remember this. But this is not exactly what is Python. We are dealing about this. Python is a programming language. So what is a programming language? A programming language is a language in which we are going to give some instructions to the computer, and the computer is going to follow those instructions. Steps in business process automation. First of all, we have to identify the tasks which have to be automated. Then we have to outline our business goal. For example, even we can automate the task of generating 3CB, 3CD reports, but it includes some professional judgment. We can't automate it. We have to select the right tool for automation. There are many tools available out there, and we have to select the right tool. And we have to monitor and measure each and every step after we have designed it. Why Python? There are so many program languages out there, for example, C, C++, Java. But we are choosing only Python because it has an easy syntax. I'm going to say what is syntax at later steps. I'm going to show some examples so that there might be a better idea. For example, I want to know the income tax of an SSA. So what are the details we require? First of all, we require the age of the SSA. Let's say the age of the SSA is 52. Enter the income of the SSA. Let's say the income is 6 lakhs. Total tax liability is 33,800. And if we want to export the calculation to Excel, we can even automate it. For example, enter the name of this. These are the supplementary details so that in Excel, it's going to give us a beautiful layout. For example, let's say the SC name is Rajesh. Date of birth SC 1968. 1st Jan 1968, let's say. Plan of the SC ABCD. Enter the address of the SC. A.V.S.R. Just give me a minute. If you see here, it had calculated the income tax of this, and it had even exported the calculation. Let's say total income is 6 lakhs, income tax before rebate is 32,500, and there is no debit. So income tax after rebate is also 32,500, and health and education cess is 1,300, and total tax payable is 33,800. Let's see some other example. takes a few minutes to load. I'm going to show about a web automation. Let's say the name of this, let's say my name, Kushwanth, pan of this, and password, I'm just pausing this. Sure. This is called as web automation. It can automatically do the process without even touching the keyboard. I wrote a program to download the recently filed 4 XMLs. It will automatically select the options. And as there are no returns, it is not going to download the returns. Let's come back to the PowerPoint presentation. We can even integrate this software with Tally. For example, I just want to pass all the purchase entries which I had in the gesture to here. We can automate this. I'm selecting the Excel file which I had downloaded from the GST portal. and here we have to give the voucher number. If you say there are 37 bills, it is passing the journal entries of 37 journal entries, and it had exported that file to a two-way import.xml. I'm going to show you that. This is the file. I'm just selecting a blank company in which there are no vouchers entered. I'm just going to import the data. And I'm going to see the daybook. You see this entries have been passed here. Similarly, we can code an artificial intelligence. I'm going to show it later. So before going to the program, we have to know some basics. First one, data types. What are the data types? Everything we give into computer, there is a type of the data that we are going to give. For example, int. Int means integers. All the integers without even decimals. For example, let's say 0, 1, 2, -1, -10. And float. Float includes decimals. Int and float are the number types in which we can give the data. And the string. String is a text. We can even give the int float in the string. And library. I'm going to discuss it at later part. Let's take an example of school for proper understanding of the Python program. Let's say in school we have a school leader. And even we have a classroom. And for every classroom, there might be a class leader. So let's relate this with the Python program. We can call the school as a Python program. We can call the student leader as a function in which we are going to give some functions to the student. How we are going to give functions to the student leader? Similarly, we are going to give some functions to the program. And even we can define a class. And in that class too, we can even write some functions. It can be better understood when we start coding. And the most important thing is loop. For example, let's take a car race in which we have to, in which the car has to go for 20 kilometers. So it can be done by two ways. The first one, we have to lay a track for 20 kilometers, and the second one is for 10 kilometers, but the car is going to go round and round for 2 times. This is called as loop. So let's start programming. So before starting program, we have to download a Python. We can download the Python in this website and we are going to install it. As I had already installed, I'm not showing that. So I'm going to write a program. It is an IDE. IDE means Integrated Developer Environment. You can write a Python program in a blank notepad file. For example, let's say import OS and print. We can write a program like this, but with the use of IDE, we can even develop it. I mean, coding the program will be simple using an IDE. And there are so many IDEs out there, and the most famous one is Pycharm. Most famous one is Pycharm, and I'm using Eclipse. You can just download it from the Google. It takes a minute to load. So this is how an IDE looks like. Let me create a new project. File, new project. You have to give it the project name. Let's say income tax calculation. Finish. Are you going to give it a name to our Python file? Let's say IT calculation. So before starting programming, we have to know about the two basic ones. One is input, one is called output. If anyone have any doubt at any of this step, you can ask me. So one is input, one is output. Input is for taking the comments from the user, and output is going to give the output to the user. For output command, for our output command, we have to use the print option, print command. For input command, we have to use the input option. These are called a function. Everything was given in this, everything that has been given in the brackets, it is called as the functions. So let's use one of that. For example, print. Whenever you are dealing with the strings, you have to keep that in the inverted commas. And it may be double quotes or single quotes. It may be double quotes or single quotes. Let's say hello world and end the program. This layout is entirely based on which ID you use. Called as console. Every input and output will be displayed here. If we say I ask the computer to print hello world, and it has printed the hello world. Let's change the print hello world. This is called as the syntax. We have to give the print command only in this way. That means we have to give it a print, and we have to open the bracket, and we have to give the string in the inverted commas, and we have to close the bracket. Let's take an example of saying hi and without username. Let's take username equal to. This is called declaring to the variables. For example, we're solving over something in our traditional mathematics. We have to use, let's say, x equal to 2. So we are declaring that value 2 to the x. Similarly, we are going to declare the function to this variable. Let's say username equal to input and print hi plus username. If you see it here, in the console, I'm going to write my name. If you set it, I given output hi Kushwanth for input Kushwanth. If you want to give something like please enter username, we can even do that. For example, please enter your name. So let's take it to the next step. For example, addition of two numbers. Input. The input function by default take the whatever we give into a string. I'd already said the string is a text, but for arithmetical operations we need numbers, not strings. So we are going to convert the string to a number. For example, str of a. So it's going to str means string. Int of a. It's going to convert the string into an integer. Plus int of b. print the sum of two numbers is plus st of c. Again, we have to convert the integer into the string. Let's run it. Enter number 1 40, number 2 50. The sum of two numbers is 90. So let's do the same with for income tax calculation. So what is the first thing we have to know about the user? We have to know about the age. So to know whether he is in the senior citizen or super senior citizen or normal citizen, please enter your age. Age of the SSC equal to. Next, we have to know about the income of the SSC. Income of the SSC. Next, we have to know about the tax of the SSC. We have to calculate the tax of the SSC. So again, the tax of the SSC equal to, let's say I want to say about the income less than 5 lakhs. So tax of the SSC equal to income of the SSC. We have to convert the string into an integer. Income of the SSC minus 250. It is just similar to the formulas that we write in Excel. Minus 250 into 0.05%. 5%. Print tax of the SSC. And let's run it. Enter the age of the SSC 40 and enter the income of the SSC. Let's give it 4 lakhs. 7,500. So this is only for the income of 2,50,000. Let's give it a bit like defining functions. What are the functions? Functions is the giving a separate scope for executing those commands. We can actually write the comments all in here, but by giving the separate scope for those functions, we can easily identify the errors. For example, let's say if is the same condition which we are going to use in Excel. If of the SC is less than or equal to 60. So let's give it if the age of the SC is greater than or equal to 80. Means super senior citizen. Let's define a function named super senior citizen. Enter. elif means if this condition is satisfied, it is not going to come to this. If this condition is not satisfied, then only it's going to come to this. elif means else if. So Elif, if the age of the SSC is greater than or equal to 60, senior citizen. Else means in other case he is a normal citizen. Normal citizen. These are the functions which we had out, but we hadn't yet defined it. That's it is going an error here. So how to define a function? It is advisable to define a function at the top of the page. So let's define a function. Function defining is an easy step in which we are just going to use def. Def means defining. Define a function super senior citizen. In this, let's say print the SC is a senior citizen. Let's define one more function, senior citizen. Print the SC is a senior citizen. Normal citizen. And let's run it. If you see it here in the console, it is asking about the please enter the age. Let's say the age is 70. Please enter the income of SC 58. Let's give something. Sorry. We have to change the string to the integer. Please enter is 70. This is senior citizen. And let's run it again. Let's say the age is 90. This is super senior citizen. Similarly, we can just give the super senior citizens and senior citizen, normal citizen like this. We are just defining the functions. And let's take it a step more. And let's try to give this something like this. When we are going to give an Excel sheet with an username and with an age and income, it have to give some like if you are going to give an Excel sheet in which there are age and income and a particular address, it has to convert with an income tax calculation of that assets. So we have to import some modules. So this is called as library, in which we are going to import the modules, and each module works for one purpose. And I'm importing the Excel WT. It is used for writing the Excel writing. And import Excel RD. This is used for reading the Excel sheets. Import Excel RD, Excel reading. So first of all, let's create an Excel sheet in which the user can enter the username and passwords. So we are going to create a workbook. So I'm assigning a name called workbook. For example, let's give it as SSC list. Excel WT, which we are giving it here. Excel WT. It is used for writing the command Excel WT workbook. So we are creating a workbook. What is a workbook? And Excel is treated as a workbook. And after creating a workbook, we need an Excel sheet. So let's create a sheet. So we are going to add a sheet. SC list. We are adding a sheet to this SSC list. So we are going to add the sheet. Add underscore sheet. These are the functions. So you can find these functions in the documentations of these libraries. Of these libraries, you can find the documentation of this. So we are going to give it a name of the sheet. Let's give the name of the sheet as SSC list. So we are writing the. So if you do that, a workbook has been created and then a sheet has also been created. So what you have to know is we have to write into a cells. So in the SSC sheet, I mean in the sheet SSC list, we are just writing the cells. We can write the cells by using the dot write. And in the programming language, the number starts from 0, not 1. So typically when we deal with Excel sheet, we are just going to say first row, first column. But in the Python program, we have to deal with like 0 row, 0 column. So in the 0 row, 0 column means A1. We are just writing name of the SSC. And let's write something more. In the 0 row, I mean in the first row, in the first row, second column, we are just writing the age of the SSC. SC sheet dot write 0, 2. Name of the SC, age of the SC, we need income of the SC. Zero, 3. So after this, let's going to save the Excel sheet, SSC. So we have to give it a part. Let's give it a part like C documents. We have to use the double slash. Or else we can even do this like this by importing a module named OS operating system. And in the OS, we can get the current working directory, means in which directory we are currently working. os.getCWD, which means get current working directory. So let's save the file in the current working directory. So let's give it like os.part.join. Means it is going to join the part. It is going to create the part for where we want to save the file. So we need a part like os.getCWD, comma, and the part has to be like, I mean in the current working directory, with what name we have to want to save the line. So let's give the Excel sheet name like this, Excel list.xls. XLS is the extension of an Excel sheet. So it is going to save it in the just give me a minute. Part for saving Excel equal to. So in the part for saving the Excel, this part is going to be saved. So in Excel list.save, we are just going to write it like this. Part for saving Excel. So after the Excel has been set, we just want to open it. So for opening, we have to write the code like this. First.start file. So which file we want to start? We want to start this file. So we're just going to write that. Part for saving Excel. Let's run it. If you see that Excel file has been created and it is opening. Name of the SC, age of the SC, income of the SC, address of the SC. And here we can give some details. Let's give some details. So for example, name is Raj and age is 40. Income of the SC is 4 lakhs. Address of the SC, A.V.S.R. And some other name, Surya. Age of the SC, let's give him as a senior citizen, 60. And income of the SC is 6 lakhs. And let's give some other name, Mumbai. And some other name, Mahesh, and 84. And income of the SC, let's give some income like 10 lakhs. And address of the SC, Chennai. And let's save it. If you see that an Excel sheet has been created and we had added some data to it. So we just want to read that data. So how we can read the data? We can read the data using Excel RD module. So let's give it some name. Reading SSC workbook is equal to, for Excel RD we want to open the workbook, we have to write it like Excel RD dot open underscore workbook. And where is the part of the workbook? The part of the workbook is in this part. Part for saving Excel. So after workbook has been opened, we have to know in which sheet the data is there. So let's give the sheet like this. Let's say the sheet is sheet 1. Sheet 1 equal to reading SSA workbook dot sheet. You can identify the sheet by index or name or by default, whichever has been loaded. So let's go by the index. Index means it is similar to the page numbers. Sheet underscore by underscore index. So let's say the sheet index is 1. I mean, let's say I'm going to show it. So this is called as index. This is the index. This is the sheet by index. If you see that, it is the first sheet. So as I already said, in the Python, the number starts from 0. So it is the 0 sheet. And for first sheet, you have to click it like this. And this is the sheet number 1. This is sheet by index 0. This is sheet by index 1. So if you move further, this is the sheet number 2, and index by index it is number 2. So the first index has been loaded. And we have to know total how many entries have been passed, so that we can create an Excel sheet for each and every person. We can note it by number of SSCs equal to sheet 1 dot n rows, which means it's going to give the number of rows. If you see sheet 1 means this. Sheet 1 means the workbook which was indexed by the 0. So in the 0 sheet, we can get the total number of rows. We can just print that. Print total number of SSCs equal to plus str number of SSC. This plus can join the 2 strings. So before doing that, let's just remove this, or else it is gonna, a new Excel sheet also be created. So let's just keep it dummy. We can keep it the dummy by keeping an hash symbol before that command. So let's load it. See that total number of SC is 4. Actually, it is, we only gave 3, but as the user ID password is also there, there is also a heading. So the total number of SC came as 4. We can just remove it by -1. Total number of SC equal to 3. So here we are going to use the loops that I had earlier said. So what is the benefit of loop? It is going to run the same program for multiple times. So there is no need to write a program so many times. So how to write a for loop? Generally the loops are of 2 types. One is while. One loop is while and other is for. And for is highly advanced rather than compared to the while. Let's use for now. So for example, let's say for everyday SSC in range 0, number of SSCs. Let's start it from 1. What I'm going to do for every SSC. Here you can write whatever you want and just write every SSC. For every SSC in range 1, number of SSCs. Number of SSC means total number of rows. Total number of rows are 4. So So this loop is going to be continued for 1 to 4. So 3 times. Whenever we're creating a for or if or any statement, we have to end it with a colon. So here tab space will whatever in this tab space is going to be completed as is going to be looped. For example, for every essay, I just want to know the name. Print name of the SCC. Let's give it a minute. So we have for before knowing the name of the SC, we have to just assign where the name of the SC is there. So if we see it here, we have already defined the sheet 1. So we can know the value of an SSC by name of the SC. Let's give it like name of the SSC equal to sheet 1 dot cell value. So with cell value, we have to define it. So if you see it here, we have given the name of the SC in 0, 0. So in the first column, the name of the SC will be there. So I have to give it like cell value every SSC, comma 0. So what is going to do? Every SSC will start from 1 and closes up to 4. So here the value will be automatically assigned as for the first loop it will be automatically assigned as 1, and for the second it will be assigned as 2, and for the third it will be assigned as term. So let's give it like print name of the SC plus str name of the SC. See if CT total number of SC equal to 3, and name of the SC is first SC is Raj, second SC is Surya, and third SC is Mahesh. Let's remove it. I'm just going to give some comments. We can give the comments by giving the #1, creating an Excel, creating a sheet in Excel. Sorry, we're not reading in Excel. Reading a sheet in Excel. Counting number of rows. Printing number of rows. So we got the name of the SC. So we also need the age of the SC. So let's give age of the SC equal to sheet 1 dot cell underscore value, and age of the SC we had given in a number 1. So let's give it like that. Every SC, comma 1. And after age we want to know the income of the SC. Comma 2, and address of the SC. So while reading the data, it is going to assign the number in the every SC row and 0 column to the name of the SC, and to the first in the age of the SC, and second one in the income of the SC, and the third one in the address of the SC. So let's calculate the income tax. If int of I'm going to declare it as an integer. Int of age of the SSC is less than or equal. Let's give it as greater than or equal to 80. Means it is a senior citizen, super senior citizen, super senior citizen. I'm just going to define a function and elif, which means I had already said if this was not correct, then it's going to apply this logic. Age of the SC is greater than or equal to 60. Else, which means in neither of these two cases, let's give it like normal citizen. So let's define what these functions have to do. Def super senior citizen. So before dealing with it, we just want to know the income of the SC. Without the income of the SC, we can't just do anything. So we need the income of the SC. So how to give value to the function? We can just declare the function here, but that function requires income. So we can pass that in this income of the SC to that function by just writing in the brackets. Income of the SC. So we have given the declaration there, but they have to accept that. So we are defining the super senior citizen here, and in the bracket we have to going to give it like income. So whatever the income of the citizen we have gave it here. So whatever the income of the SC we wrote it here, it is automatically declared to the value income here. So let's give it like, if income is less than or equal to 5 lakhs, then we want to print a message like this is a super senior citizen and there is no tax payable. Similarly, elif income less than or equal to 10 lakhs. So if income is less than or equal to 10 lakhs, we have to just calculate the tax. So let's calculate it. So first one is basic tax. So basic tax equal to total income minus 5 lakhs. As already up to 5 lakhs, there is an exemption. So total income less minus 5 lakhs into 0.2 means 20%. So let's print it like basic tax equal to and after that we need a health and education cess. So let's write it like HEC cess. So HEC cess is basic tax into 0.4%. Here I am declaring the int. As by default it is going to give it in float, means it is going to give it the numbers and decimals. So by using it, it will automatically round off to the nearest integer. Similarly, I'm just declaring it into here. If income is less than or equal to 10 lakhs, so you got the basic tax and HCCS and total tax. Total tax equal to basic tax plus HCCS. So let's print of this SSA. Total tax. So the income is less than or equal to 10 lakhs, it is okay. But what if the income is more than 10 lakhs? Then we are going to use else. Basic tax equal to into of income minus ten lakhs into 30% plus on the 5 lakhs income there is a 20% tax, which means 1 lakh. So let's print basic tax equal to basic tax into 4%. Total tax equal to so here we got the basic tax and HCCS and the total tax of the super senior citizens. And we just copy it and paste it for senior citizen. So for this, the first condition changes is 3 lakhs. And the SCG is senior citizen. So there is no tax payable if the income is less than 3 lakhs. And next one. If income is less than or equal to 5 lakhs. Then basic tax equal to into of income minus 3 lakhs into 0.5 means 5%. And for the less than 5 lakhs, there is a rebate applicable. So basic tax equal to, let's write it like that. Rebate equal to basic tax. As the income is less than 5 lakhs and full amount is eligible for it. So just giving the basic tax amount into a rebate. And after that, as there is no HCCS equal to 0, as there is no rebate. And total tax equal to, you can just give it a 0. and print. S is eligible for rebate, so no need to pay tax. So let's say income is less than 10 lakhs, then income minus 5 lakhs and the same formula, but the only thing that changes is the income will be, the tax will be increased by 10,000. And everything is same, but here the income 1 lakh, it's going to change into 1,10,000. So the last one is normal citizen. We just define that function. If income is less than 2,50,000, as he is a normal citizen. Yes, is eligible for. Let's write it like that. LC income is between basic exemption limit, and there is no need to pay tax. And here income minus 2,50,000. And here in the place of 10,000, it is 12,500. So let's execute this program. If you check in the console, just a minute. Actually, I just forgot to do this. Income of the SC. If you see it here, for the three clients that were given, that the basic tax and the total tax has been calculated successfully. For the first one, this is eligible for rebate, and second one is 30,000 tax and 31,200 total tax, and for this 1 lakh and 1,04,000 total tax. So let's just dump this data into an Excel sheet. We can do that by two ways, by giving some more functions or just by using this. So at the end of the super senior citizen, we just give some more values to those functions. For example, name of the SCC, age of the SCC, income of the SC, name of the SC, age of the SC, and address of the SC. Similarly here. So after income, we are just going to get the name of the essay. And after that, we are getting the age of the essay. And after that, we are getting the address of the essay. So after we got these details, let's just first give some details like basic tax equal to 0. So whenever the program has been started, it just gonna default with basic tax equal to 0. So when it comes to this tab, then only it's gonna declare that value into the basic tax. Until then, it's gonna save basic tax equal to 0. Let's give HEC says equal to 0 and total tax equal to 0. So whenever the program starts, the values by default will be set to 0. So let's create an Excel sheet. This is just similar to these steps that we had wrote earlier. Similar to these steps. So let's give like workbook WB equal to Excel WT, means we're writing the workbook. Excel WT dot workbook. And in the sheet 1, let's give the sheet 1 name like income tax computation. In the sheet 1 dot write, in the first column, let's give it like, a heading equal to, let's join two strings like income tax computation of plus name of this. So by giving this, whatever the name that we have written earlier in that function, that will be transferred to here, and from here it will be transferred to here. So let's write heading here. And in the sheet 1 dot write, in the first row 0 column, let's write it like name of the SSC. And sheet 1 dot write, in the first row first column of this, which by default will be come to here. Sheet 1 dot write 2, 0, age of the SC, sheet 1 dot write 2, 1, second of first column, str of age, just converting the number into a string, str of age, sheet 1 dot write 3, 0, and we are writing the address of the SC. Sheet 1 dot write 3, 1, and here we are just giving the address. And after this, in the 4, 0, let's start the income tax computation. sheet 1 dot write 4 comma 1. Sorry, there is no need to write 4 comma 1. Let's leave a line gap 6 comma 0. Let's give here income of the SSA. Six comma 1. And here we're just writing the income of the SSA. And this income 0 is just write income tax payable before rebate. As this is by default is not eligible for rebate, as his income will be always more than 5 lakhs. If it is less than 5 lakhs, he has a basic exemption limit. So let's write it like this. This is not eligible for rebate. So income tax payable for rebate. Just give it a line gap. Sheet 1 dot write 7 comma 1. Here we are going to give it income tax payable before rebate. So here we have to write basic rebate. Sorry, basic tax. And in the 8 comma 0, let's give it like 8 comma 1. Rebate. That's rebate. Tax payable after rebate. So it will be same equal to basic tax, and there is no rebate. So sheet 1 dot write 10 comma 0. Add health and education. Sheet 1 dot write 10 comma 1. Here we are going to fill the HSSS. Sheet 1 dot write 11 comma 0. Total tax payable. Sheet 1 dot write 11 comma 1. Total tax. So similarly, let's write this for other functions. Just copy and paste it. Unlike the previous one, here is the concept of rebate. So we're just going to change it a bit. Everything is same. But the only thing that differs is the place of let's rebate. Let's give it like rebate. And here after tax payable after rebate, we have to less the rebate from the basic tax. So let's give it declare is equal to int of basic tax minus int of rebate. So basic tax after rebate. Let's declare the value, dummy values beforehand, so that the amount will be 0 before at the beginning. Basic tax equal to 0, rebate equal to 0, HECS equal to 0, and total tax equal to 0. So for normal tax also same process. So after creating the Excel workbook, we have to just save it. So let me save it. wb.save. So we're just saving the workbook. So before saving the workbook, we just need a part of the workbook where we want to save it. So let's write it like that. Part for saving Excel. A.V.S.part.join. I have already said about this. A.V.S.get current working directory. Come. Let's save it here. Just give me name of the file equal to. Let's save it the name of the essay. Name plus .xls, extension of the Excel sheet. So name of the file, part for save. Let's copy this and paste it in the other parts too. Let's run it. Just a minute. I just given the bracket here. That's the if you see it, all the income tax computations have been saved here. Let's open one of the client. So you got the income computation. Let me just change it. So let's automate it a bit. For example, we need an income tax computation of almost 80 clients. For example, let's just let's give it up to some 50 clients. In the Azure Functions, let's give it some starting from 51. The start income from 4 lakhs, which will increase by 1 lakh. And let's give the same address. So let's save this. And execute the program once again. If you see it here, it has just taken less than a minute. Let me show you. If you see it here, all income tax computation has been done within just a fraction of a second for all 50 clients. If you see it here, for each and every client, the income tax computation has been calculated, and an aspect Excel sheet has been created within just as a minute time of 1 second. So with the help of Python, we can actually automate many more things rather than this. So any doubts until here?
No.
Then thanks.
Anyone has any questions, you can raise. You can unmute yourself and you can ask. The speaker will respond. Kushwanth, really this is a very nice session, even useful for members also, not only for students. And you have elaborately dealt with and very detailedly explained everything. It's
Thanks, sir.
very, very so nice of you, and you had handled the session very nice at the student level. So it's very good
Thanks.
talent you have. And your article also has been in the newsletter. It's very nice. And I request other students also to contribute any articles of professional interest as well as academic interest. Any questions? Anyone has any doubts? Okay, I request Secretary Pawan to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Kushwanth. I thank the respected chairman of Visakhapatnam branch of SARC, CA G. Bharati Devi Garu, and also the chairman of CICASA Visakhapatnam branch, CA S. Murli Krishna sir, and today's speaker, A.V.S.R. Kushwanth. Our student speaker Kushwanth has dealt the subject in a detailed manner. He has elaborated the meaning of Python, use of Python in the CA field, usage of Excel by using the Python, automated process of making calculations regarding the income tax, and also the usage of GSTR 2A reconciliations, Python usage for income tax calculations. And he also dealt the how to use Python, the procedure on how to make the calculations at the ease way, and also the examples regarding the topics. I am sure that the participants should have benefited immensely from the seminar. I thank our speaker on behalf of myself and on behalf of CICASA Visakhapatnam branch, and also on behalf of the students. The committee is planning to make more seminars on various topics. Students can address their academic and non-academic problems to the social groups or mails such as sikasa.visakhapatnam@gmail.com. We thank all the students for attending the seminar. We request everyone to be safe. Thank you, everyone. Now we could close the session.